Hi, my name is Jim Ferrin and I'm a training consultant and an assessor with Talking Blues. I'm going to tell you about, over the next couple of minutes, what you will expect to meet when you come on your assessment centre. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the welcome pack as well. Okay, so what is your role for the day? Well, quite simply, your role for the day is you are a customer service officer at a shopping centre. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why would police officers need to know what customer services officers do? Well, quite simply, they use exactly the same skills on a day-to-day basis. They communicate with people, they problem solve, they make decisions, they ask questions. They deal with people who have got problems, and they work to facilitate a workable solution that's satisfactory to everybody. So in actual fact, the skills that you will be getting assessed on the assessment centre are exactly the same as the competencies that a police officer uses. And when you come on the workshop with my colleagues and I, we will explain that to you in a lot more detail. So, how do I actually know what a customer services officer does? Well, as I say, they use very, very similar skills to police officers. But you will be getting a centre welcome pack. Now, a couple of weeks before the assessment centre, this will arrive in the post and it will look exactly like this. And it will have a copy of the code of conduct for the shopping centre that you're going to be assessed on. It'll have a copy of your job description. It'll have a copy of the equality policy. It will have a copy of the operations department information. And it'll have a little bit about the centre itself. Those of you that have already got the welcome pack, just for a couple of seconds, how many CCTV cameras are at the Westshire Centre? How many security officers are on duty at any given time? Well, if you don't know that, you haven't read it. And if you haven't read your welcome pack, then I would strongly suggest that you won't do as well as a candidate who has, because the welcome pack is very, very important to you. So how important is it to you? Well, let's not beat about the bush. It's the most important thing that you will have. It's the only information that you will get to prepare yourself prior to going on your assessment centre. Now, when you come on the workshop with my colleagues and I, we will take you through the welcome pack and we will explain to you how the information in the welcome pack fits into the role plays and the written exercises. So it's probably beneficial for you to consider popping down to one of the workshops that we run. So, what sort of things will you be doing as this customer services officer? Well, here's an example. You're going to be meeting Smith. Smith is a manager who wishes to discuss an incident that has occurred at the centre. That's an everyday type of scenario that you're going to get. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So just suppose the following has happened. Okay? So you're called to deal with a shop owner who's complaining about the lack of security response. An employee of his called in a report of robbery, but the security was slow to respond. And the rationale behind that was the employee in the past has made numerous false calls. They've been ignored, but this was a genuine incident. The managers got involved and now security have responded. So quite clearly, you're going to have to go and put a little bit of oil on troubled waters. What sort of things will you be using? Well, quite simply, from your welcome pack, you'll be looking at information from the code of conduct. You will be using information about your job description because you will be taking responsibility to solve this problem. You may have to quote from the equality policy. You will certainly have to be able to give some information about the operations department. And above all, a good candidate, he or she, will be able to give additional information about the centre itself. If you haven't read this welcome pack, this will be a very, very challenging process for you. But as I say, when you come on the workshop, we'll go through all that. So, how do they mark you? Let's get straight to the point. This is a competitive process. There is a failure. Okay? A badly prepared candidate does not get through the assessment centre. I'm going to give you a quick overview of how they mark you. On the workshops themselves, we will explain how those marks are achieved. So, if you have a quick look at this marking guide, down the side you will see competencies. Now, hopefully all of you will be quite familiar with these competencies because these are competencies that you've probably been reading about. Serving the public, service delivery, openness to change, working with others, professionalism and decision making. And along the top of the marking guide, you will see 4 role plays, 2 written exercises and your interview. Now, you may have already picked up that there are some of the competencies that haven't been tested, i.e. they're not marked. That's not for you to worry about. All you have to do is you go into those role plays and you demonstrate the competencies that are required to the assessor by speaking to the role player and finding out what the problems are. Please do not go into a role play and try and play what assessors call competency bingo, where you're trying to pick out, oh, I know exactly the competency you're looking for, because that's when you can actually trip yourself up. Oh, and by the way, there is one of these competencies that if you get a D on, you will automatically fail. So, on the workshops, we'll explain to you how to avoid that pitfall. And more importantly, how to make sure that you are scoring as highly as is possible on the day. Okay, that's enough from me. I wish you good luck. The police is a fantastic career. I wish you every success in the world, and my colleagues and I will hope to see you on one of our workshops in the near future. Thanks very much.